I'm Duncan Mcnaughton, I'm Community Ranger for the Forestry Commission. The Forestry Commission not only manages this site and has planted most of the trees on it, but we also are one of the funders for the Big Art project for Dream. It's always been the intention that, or was always one of the intentions, that there's going to be some sort of statue, monument, sculpture up on the top of Sutton Manor, which is 80 metres above sea level at the top of the hill. And therefore, when the trees were planted, it was always intended that the viewpoints would be retained from up there. Now, the question that I'm always asked is, who's going to manage the trees because you can't see the Dream from certain angles? Well, really from the moat, directly below on the motorway, the rake of the hill is such that you'd never see the Dream anyway. And you probably run into the vehicle in front of you anyway, but you can see it from the approaches. And from now Dream's in situ, it's now a case that we can look at where we need to manage trees and open up those viewpoints or retain the viewpoints. I think the best way I look at managing it, explaining the management of the trees, is almost like a Mexican wave effect. As you've got a viewpoint, and then you clear to one side of it and clear to the other side, and as that grows in, you're moving between parameters on that viewpoint. And then rather than clear felling the whole top, because Dream, the concept behind Dream was it had to fit in with the landscape, and people just love this area for the trees, the wildflowers and the birds that are on the site now. Now Dream's in situ, it'll be a case of visitor management on here, because from just being mainly local people visiting the site, and it has changed over the last 10 years from being literally a black moonscape of slag heap. It's now a really vibrant piece of landscape that people visit, and it's a dynamic landscape. It's changing all the time. You can see that by some of the wildlife that's on here that wasn't on here 5 years ago, and that'll change again in future. There's been bat boxes and hibernacula for reptiles and amphibians put on the site as part of the Dream construction, so that has been taken into account. So with the visitor management, that's going to be slightly more difficult in a way, because say from being local people visiting here, there's now people from miles away visiting. So you've got vehicle numbers coming on here. Everyone wants to drive as close to it as possible. At the moment, there's restrictions put on here to try and stop motorbikes getting onto the site, which shouldn't be on here. But that's a sort of policing issue in a way, and the police are visiting here obviously quite a lot with their scrambler bikes and quad bikes. I think really we'll probably be looking at opening some of the gates up so you can get the motorised scooter, the disability scooters and so forth through now, without having to go through access gates of any sort, and just make it more visitor friendly. Next thing that comes after this, who knows, it's going to be a sort of visitor centre or whatever. In the construction period, you're going to get the bare ground around it. We could have fluffed up the soil and put topsoil down or turfed it or whatever, but had it been bad weather, we've been really fortunate today and been gorgeous weather, but had it been bad weather, it'd have been like Glastonbury or something. We'd been going around in a quagmire. It's surprising how quick the vegetation will come back through. On the top of Sutton Manor itself, where Dream is, there's only a thin layer of soil anyway, but the vegetation will come back through fairly quickly. It's always a case of you've got to crack eggs to make omelettes. The vegetation around it is growing, well, within 10 years, there's really good tree cover on there. Less than 10 years ago, there were just twiggy little whips of trees that were in place. But then the ground's been double dug, soil forming materials being brought onto the site, and that's why the trees are growing so well on there. The bits where the open spaces are haven't had any soil added to them, apart from a skim of soil, which will always have a sort of good, strong vegetation, but it's not going to be lush vegetation, which you don't want anyway on there. But yeah, that'll be that'll all come into place in time. And if we're looking at picnic tables or more seating up there, which people seem to be wanting as a destination point, then we'll have to review the situation. Because I say it's a dynamic site. It's changing all the time, and Dream's the thing that's going to make it change even more. I saw some of the original ideas of being like a miner's lamp or whatever, which obviously the miners rejected because it wasn't modern, or it wasn't the right concept. I was a little bit sceptical when I first heard about their head going up here, a girl's head, and also the fact that it would shine as such. Now I've seen it going up, my perception of it has completely changed, and when I spoke to other people visiting the site, it's changed as well. You look at the site from a distance, and you can see that Dream from miles around from here. You can even see it from where our office is down at Delamere, which is, as a crow flies, a good 15 miles or so away. When the sun hits Dream, it comes out from behind a cloud, it actually does shine. It's as though someone's put a spotlight on it. And I say it does fit in with landscape. It's something different. It's iconic in a way. I just like it. Let's put this place on the map, and it's going to be on the map for quite some time. It sounds daft, but you feel proud to be associated with the site where Dream's gone on, because you know that people are going to come and visiting this for years, and it's got not just a national reputation with it, it's got an international reputation to it now.